All right, so this is the scale I will be using to weigh myself this morning. It is the Weight Watchers Bluetooth Body Analysis Scale by Knorr. And I did receive this as a gift from my sister-in-law Dee for my birthday, which was December 15th, and for Christmas. And I absolutely love it. Thank you, Dee. All right, so I am in my bathroom, and I'm about to step on the scale and see my first weight. Okay. Now I do have my phone in my hand and clothes on. 212.9. So instead of making the cabbage casserole that I had planned for today, I needed to make something else because I did not receive the spice in the mail yet from Amazon. So it's going to be an eye-round roast beef. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Arlene. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. So I purchased a beautiful eye-round roast beef. And I decided to try to cook it in the Instapot. So I have it on Sautee right now, and around all of the sides, the bottom, the back, the front, the top, I have onion powder, garlic powder, crushed black pepper, and kosher salt. So I'm just going to brown this on all the sides. I sprayed the bottom of the pan with my olive oil spray. And I'm just going to brown this on all the sides. Then I'm going to be adding about a cup of water. And I got to check the paper to see how long I have to cook this for. Because I'm going to be slicing this nice and thin. Like you would get roast beef at a deli. So I'm going to be slicing this nice and thin on my slicing machine. I'll show you that when the time comes. So I'll let you know how long I'm going to cook it for, and then we'll see if it's nice, because we like our roast beef, you know, a little red in the middle, not where it's, you know, looks like it's still alive, but, you know, I guess medium rare you would call it. We don't like it rare. That's a little too undone, but, yeah, and from this pan, I'm going to be adding some onions in a minute, and frying up the onions with it before I put the water in and cook it. And then that will be the sauce of the gravy in the bottom. So this is going to be probably a 6 to 7 point meal between the gravy and the roast beef. And then I'm probably going to make mashed potatoes, 0 point mashed potatoes with my unsweetened almond milk, and salt, pepper, onion powder. And for my husband's, I'll throw in some butter, but I'll take mine out beforehand. And a vegetable. So that's what I'm planning for today. So I'm just going to continue to brown this, and then I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so it's just about browned on all sides. And I did put an onion in here. I cut up 1 large onion. Sorry about the smoke on the camera. So I got that nice and browned. Now I'm going to add just about a cup of water. I'm going to put the lid on. I don't have my tripod hooked up right now, so I'm doing this with just one hand. So I'm going to cancel that. And then I'm going to put it on pressure cook. Let me see how many minutes. They say here for beef, large pieces, 20 to 25 minutes. I'll start with 25 minutes because I could basically feel it with my finger, and then I could tell, you know, how it's cooked inside. I need to get myself a meat thermometer, actually. So I am going to do pressure cook. I'm going to start with 20 minutes because I really don't want it getting overcooked. If I do overcook it and it's not at least pink or, you know, a little bit rare in the middle, then I'll just have to put it back in and cook it for a much longer time and make a pot roast out of it. All right, so that's in, and we will take a look after the 20 minutes, and then we'll get on to the sides. Okay, so the 20 minutes are up, and I actually released the steam myself. Now, it does feel like it's probably very, very rare in the middle, but you know what? I'm so afraid of overcooking it in the pressure cooker that I'm going to take it out. I'm going to let it rest, because you always want your meat to rest for at least 15 minutes so that the juices can redistribute. Because if you start cutting it right now, all that juice is going to run out, and it's going to be tough, and it's going to be terrible. So that is the trick, and the tip for today is when you're cooking any type of meat, whether it be a turkey, a beautiful steak, a loin of pork roast, whatever you're cooking, you never want to take it out of the pan, out of the oven, out of wherever you cooked it, and start slicing it immediately. I'm going to put it on the plate over there. I'm going to cover it with some foil, and I'm going to let it rest for about 20 minutes. Then we'll start slicing it on my slicing machine, and we'll head over to the slicing machine in my dining room, and we're going to do that next. In the meantime, those onions and the juices so far from when I sauteed this on all the sides is looking good. So after I take this out, I'm going to add some beef bouillon to this juice, add more water to it. Now, if I had a box of beef stock, I would just add that. I'm going to add a little bit of thyme. I love thyme and bay leaf in brown gravy. It just gives it such a wonderful flavor. So I'm going to add a little bit of thyme, a bay leaf. I'll put it on saute, bring it up to a boil, and then thicken it with either some cornstarch and water or flour and water. So I'm going to get this out, put it on the plate, cover it with tin foil, let it rest for 20 minutes, and then we're going to start slicing. Okay, so what I decided to do before I make my gravy, as you can see, all the liquid is still down in there. I cleaned a whole bunch of potatoes and put them, chopped them into big chunks. You can see how big pieces they are. And then I put in 1 bag of the little tiny mini carrots. I did wash the potatoes and scrub them very well, but I did leave the skins on. So instead of making mashed potatoes, because my husband actually had mashed potatoes last night, I figured I would do like boiled potatoes with the gravy over it, and then carrots. So almost like a stew type vegetable mix here. And so I'm just going to put the lid back on. I'm going to cook this while I can, while my meat is resting. And this I am going to put on for 8 minutes. So pressure cook for 8 minutes. I don't want the potatoes very mushy. It says for big chunks, and it says for carrots 8 to 10 minutes. So I don't want them mushy. I want them, just cooked, fork tender. So that's on 8 minutes. While that's cooking, my roast beef is resting over here, very nicely covered with foil. And because all the heat is staying trapped in there, if it is a little bit too rare in the middle, it's actually continuing to cook. So I'm going to let that go. And yeah, and I'll show you in the next clip how we're going to be slicing it. All right, so the 8 minutes is up, and I actually let the steam out. So now I'm just going to be taking out all these beautiful carrots. I think next time I'll do 7 minutes because the potatoes are perfect, but the carrots are a little soft. Let me see. Yeah, they're all right. I guess the ones that were in the bottom in the juice got really cooked, overcooked. That's all right. I don't care. But now they're infused with all this delicious beef juice. So they're even going to be more flavorful. So I'm just going to take this out, and then we're going to slice our roast beef. Okay, so we are at the slicing machine. And I'm just going to slice this, and it looks like it's pretty cooked. So I think next time I'll just do it for like 15 minutes. I'm going to cut this a little bit thinner. Beautiful. So good. Flip it over. Yeah, it looks beautiful. And then with some nice homemade roast beef gravy and the potatoes and the carrots, this is going to be a beautiful meal. Make it a little tiny bit thicker. There we go. And whatever we don't eat tonight for dinner, I can make my husband some nice sandwiches for lunch on nice hard rolls. I live in New York and the rolls are the best here. See, as I go into it more, it's more rarer in the middle, which is good because when I make my husband's plate with the gravy, his dinner plate, he's going to heat it up in the microwave later anyhow when he gets home. So this way it'll, by the time he heats it up, it'll be perfectly cooked. So I'm just going to continue to slice this. We're going to make the gravy next. And then I'll show you my plate and how many points it's going to be. So let me finish this up and I'll be right back. Okay, so the roast beef's all cut. The potatoes and the carrots are out of the juice. To this juice, I added a little bit more water. I added a bay leaf. You can see I have one nice, where is it? It's in here somewhere. I don't know, it's floating around, but I put one nice big bay leaf in there. I put 2 of these Knorr beef bouillon cubes. You can use onion soup mix. You can use powdered beef bouillon, whatever kind you want. Now, bringing this to a boil, it is on the saute setting. And then in here, I have 3 tablespoons of regular all-purpose flour with some water. Probably won't use all of it. I'm just going to use enough so that it thickens up my gravy very nicely. Put in a little start and stir it. There we go. It's getting nice and thick. We like our gravy really thick, so I'm going to let it come back up to the boil and see if it gets any thicker. Otherwise, I will add the rest of this. I'm going to give it a quick taste. I have some of the flour on there. Oh, well. My God, you guys, it's so good. You can taste that thyme. You can taste the bay leaf. The beef juices. So delicious. I'm going to add a little bit more. Like I said, we like our gravy thick. Look at that. And they have beautiful homemade beef gravy. So I'll do the calculations for 3 tablespoons of flour. And that's how much all this gravy is worth in the points. And I'll probably use just like a 1/4 of a cup. Not a 1/4 of a cup, I'm sorry. A 1/3 of a cup on my roast beef and my potato. So I'm going to do 5 ounces of roast beef. A 1/3 of a cup of gravy. The carrots and the potatoes. So the only points for this delicious, delicious dinner is going to be the roast beef and the gravy. The carrots and the potatoes on the purple plan are 0 points. Now you want to cook this for a few minutes and stirring it because you want to get that flour taste. You want to cook that flour taste out. So you always want to do that. But when I just tasted it, I really don't even taste any flour. It's delicious, guys. All right, well, there you have it. A beautiful Instapot I-round roast beef. I will make it like this from now on instead of putting it in the oven for an hour or so. And you can even do it from frozen if you forget to take out your I-round roast beef and it's in the afternoon or whatever, and you're like, oh God, I forgot to take out my meat. You could take it out, pop it right in the Instapot, and then I cook it for a little bit longer because you can do anything in here. You could start from frozen or start from thawed. So yeah, there you have it. I'm going to make my plate and I'm going to eat. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you watching. Everybody have a great day. And I'll see you all in the next video. If you're new here, please hit that subscription button. Please hit that notification bell. And if you like what I made for dinner tonight, please give me a thumbs up. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Okay, so the breakdown for the dinner, I ended up having 6 ounces of roast beef, which was 4 points. I had the beef gravy, 1/3 of a cup, which I charged myself 1 point because I only put 3 tablespoons of flour in that whole entire thing. So just 1 point for the gravy. And then the potatoes were 0 and the carrots were 0. And guys, it was so filling and delicious. One of my favorite meals so far.